With so many students learning online this year, I thought it'd be appropriate to make a video talking about synchronous interactive learning and the best message to use with your students. First of all, the terms synchronous and asynchronous are relatively new to most people. Asynchronous refers to a class where a teacher might send a video and answer questions about it, post assignments, email back and forth, maybe even call on the phone, but that's all asynchronous. And all the virtual classes that are going on certainly have asynchronous components. But synchronous means that the teacher is meeting the student live in what we refer to as a chat room or an online meeting room, such as Zoom, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, Google Meet, etc. So first thing you want to do, and not all these techniques are ones you have to do every time, but you want to have a lot of them each time. So the first suggested thing is an entrance ticket. An entrance ticket is going to review what the students learned last time to see if they're ready for it. And in real time, you can teach on the fly if the majority of kids didn't get something. You probably want to use something like Google Forms. Google Forms allows the teacher to see the answers in a Excel spreadsheet as they're finished. So you ask 2-3 questions, takes a few minutes. You train the kids to come maybe a little early, or you spend the first few minutes going over it. You also want to have right away an overview of what you're going to do. So these are the things we're going to talk about in this quick video. I've already talked about the entrance ticket. So the next thing would be a warm-up. And a warm-up is something to get to know the students better. I think we forget when we're online that what you do online is a lot of what you do in the classroom. So in the classroom, you can scan the room, you can walk around, you can look at a kid, and get them back on task. But online, you got to think about ways to engage them and engage them constantly. Otherwise, they're going to lose attention. You can't see them. They're on their personal phone, or they're muting you, or whatever it is. So warm-up is something to get to know them personally, just like you do in a brick and mortar class. Are they in a club? Are they in a sports team? What's something they did fun for a recent holiday, etc. And then try to kind of keep that in your brain as you would in a brick and mortar class, and then use those things. Oh, we have a diver. Let's talk about the physics of diving if it's a physics class, and kind of go through it that way. And that way the kids will be in tune, more alert, they care more because they know you care more. So, as I said, you want to constantly interact with your students. So how do you do that? Everybody give me a check mark when you're done with the entrance ticket. Everybody give me an emoji that tells me how you're feeling today. And you do those kind of things like 6-7 times during the classroom. You can also have them text kind of lowbrow answers. Lowest level on Maslow's hierarchy of learning, for example. And you have to preface it by saying, I'm going to give you the question. Don't push enter in the answer until I say 3, 2, 1, enter. Otherwise, 1 or 2 kids are going to give the answer early, and the other kids are going to copy it or not care because the answer's out there. And what you're trying to do is get all the kids to answer. And you want to usually, on most chat rooms, you can kind of see that the kids are engaged by looking at, there's a pencil function which says that they're typing. And you want to get every kid, or almost every kid, to answer. And you want to learn who are the kids who don't answer things. And then you want to go to them and ask them. Or maybe you can have that person summarize the answers to kind of draw them back in to the classroom. And that's certainly another technique, is have your kids talk. And don't necessarily just say, who has the answer? Go with giving them a name and calling them, and keep a mental list, if not a physical list, of who's been talking in class, and try to get everybody to talk at least once during the class. The other thing you can do, Pear Deck is awesome. I'll do something on Pear Deck on this blog soon. Pear Deck is, for those of you who don't know it, it's basically a PowerPoint where you can have questions on every slide or every other slide, and whenever they see the pair, kids know to click there and answer the question. And again, you can see it in live in an Excel-like spreadsheet, who's answering, who's not, and then call out the kids. Hey, Sue, do you need any help on this question? Can I help you? Another thing you want to do is engage Google Classroom and put some work up there, or a Google Doc or something in Google Suite, a Google presentation that the kids can use while they're in class, again, to show their learning. And you would use that in a breakout room. So just as you probably always have some kind of group work in a normal classroom, normal middle school, high school class, or even an elementary school class, or maybe you keep them in pods all the time in a brick and mortar class, you're going to want to do that here. So maybe you give a 5-minute lecture. You don't want it to be long. You have limited time. And then you say, I'm going to put you in a breakout room. I've shared the questions you need to do by group in Google Classroom, or maybe you have a Google presentation you want to work on. Group 1 is first slide, group 2, second slide, etc. And then you send them to the rooms. You generally want to keep one group in the main room because you're not always going to have 100% of the kids there. Some may be sick, doing something else, whatever. And that way, when they come and watch the recording, if you have them watch it, they can get a gist, a better idea of what was done in the breakout rooms. And while they're in the breakout rooms, you do want to give them a little heads up, like 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, etc. In some cases, you might have to tell them to turn the mics off so that they're not all on when they come back in the classroom. While they're in the breakout rooms, you can watch them two ways. One, you can have them working on something in Google and you can flip between documents, or even easier in a Google presentation, you can just go up and down and you can see which groups have people typing, adding images, whatever it is. But you definitely want to go from room to room, answer their questions, just listen. You don't even have to speak. Another idea is maybe you've presented some material, you've done some interaction, and you want to make sure they've learned it in a fun fashion. Quizlet Live is one way to do it. Kahoot is another one. The kids all know how to play those games, or they can learn very quickly. They also will do it on their smartphone, and an advantage of that is you're getting them off the phone if they weren't on it for a good use in class. And it's competitive, and they like that. They like to see their team gets an extra point, maybe on the assignment or whatever it happens to be. Also in a class, you want to end with what's due before the next class, or what's due long term, like in 2 weeks we have a test, but in a week we have a quiz. And in between, you want to do these 2 assignments, and this next one is due right before our next class. And you may have said it in the beginning on that introduction. You noticed I had homework there, but you still want to repeat it again. And yes, you're going to put it in your learning management system. You're going to put it other places, but we want to give the kids as many times to learn, just like you would hope that someone telling you what to do would do as well. You probably want to finish with an exit ticket. Again, that's just going to show that the kids have done the learning they need. A couple quick questions to ascertain quickly if they were listening. One idea might be to give them a grade for the exit ticket. That way they kind of have to pay attention during the whole class. So these are the ideas that I have for interactive learning in a chat room for a synchronous discussion with your students.